just trying to figure out. Okay, I got a question. You mean to tell me because Donald Trump he wants it to be where people are legitimately eligible to vote? You telling me because he's putting measures in place that will require United States citizens to show proof that they are eligible to vote, that is an issue? What's the issue? Because they can do that simply by the voter registration. They can do that. I'm not sure if they're changing it up to where you have to prove when you go to vote every time that you have to show proof. But the voter registration card should be enough for that. If it's a situation where your voter registration card has to be measured against your ID, which I thought they were already doing that, but they couldn't do that. I don't remember. I really don't remember. But what's wrong with them making more secure measures or bringing more secure measures to the voting booth to prevent fraud, to prevent mistakes at the voter polls? What's wrong with that? If you want to vote, you're going to make sure that your stuff is up to date and that you are registered and you have everything you need. I mean, people usually do this before they go vote anyway. They've already done all of this stuff. So what I would tell you is, it's not that he's trying to stop any type of election from happening. No, he's not trying to do that. But what I do believe that he's trying to do, based upon everything else he's done so far, is make sure that the people who are voting are the people who have a right to vote. And if you're illegal, by any means, you have no right to vote in this country. By any means, you have no right to vote in this country if you're illegal. These are the people who are going to have problems with it. For the most part, these are the people who are going to have the problem with it. The states. These are the states that's going to have the problem with it. These are the representatives that's going to have a problem with it. The ones who are part of these sanctuary cities and they advocate for illegals. These are the ones who are going to have a problem with it. You're not going to have a problem with it if you're registered to vote already, and if you are a legal citizen, you're not going to have a problem with it. If you want to vote, if you want your vote to count, you're going to do that. He's not trying to stop. Donald Trump is not trying to stop people from being able to vote. That is not what he's doing. So anybody out there trying to insinuate that message, you're wrong. That's not what he's doing. Stronger security measures are needed in America right now. They're needed. At a time when we're trying to clear our country of illegals, it is needed. Sanctuary cities in these states where these counties have protections for illegals, y'all are going to have problems. Come midterm, y'all are the ones who are going to have problems with this. Because Donald Trump is even talking about getting rid of these so-called sanctuary cities as well in America. Because of the type of people y'all are trying to bring sanctuary to. Trying to allow them to be here, even though there are measures going against them for why they shouldn't be here. It's interesting that somebody's asking this question about whether or not they're trying to mess with the 20s. What we're doing is trying to evolve from the crap that we've been dealing with over the decades. We're trying to get rid of. This is what change looks like. This is what change looks like, and it needs to happen. It's going to happen. There is nothing wrong with them bringing stronger security measures, as they're doing with everything else. Bringing stronger security measures, especially during the time where we have to purge our country of illegals and people who have no rights here. It's absolutely necessary. Otherwise, the burden falls on the taxpayers. And we're no longer having that shit. We're not having that. So if there are certain people who get affected by new security measures being put on the voting rights, a voting polls, oh well, it needs to happen. There's a lot of us out here who understand why it needs to happen. If you're illegal here, you're not a taxpayer. And if you are a taxpayer, you're an illegal taxpayer. We're not condoning that. As American citizens that are here legally, this is our birthplace, okay? We're not okay with illegal taxpayers. Some of you may be, but we're not. They pay into our system because they want to live here and work here. We're not condemning them for that. We're condemning them for being illegal in the first place, which people seem to just skip over when they're talking about them. Illegal just doesn't, I guess that doesn't matter to you. I don't understand this. But you want to continuously talk about someone being a felon. Yet when we're talking about illegal immigrants, illegal citizens here, illegal non-citizens here, you have a problem with it. And this makes sense how? I just want somebody to explain to me how this makes sense to you. Why does this make sense to you? I guess nobody's going to ever explain that. Nobody's ever going to explain that. You know why? Because you can't. You can't explain that. Oh my gosh. This is what I'm not understanding about the Hegseth situation. All right. Y'all want to condemn Hegseth. If he has any wrongdoing in this, he needs to be dealt with accordingly. I mean, to my knowledge, he already apologized for the leak. But here's what I have to say about it. Why was it leaked in the first place? We're talking about whether or not it was classified information, right? You want to know if it was classified, whether it was, what's it called? Oh, what is it called? Something about unclassified, considered classified, or whatever. Whether it was classified or not is what's important. Whether or not there was information in there about actual military actions, those things are important. I'm not taking away from that. What I want to say is, you want to condemn Hegseth, you better condemn the person who leaked the information as well. Both of them. Not just Hegseth, but the person who leaked the information as well. This journalist that had no business in the chat in the first fucking place. Condemn both of them. They both did something. If you want to go there with Hegseth and say, oh, he should have to resign and all this other shit people are saying. Then what needs to happen to the journalists that leaked the information? That is still continuing to try to leak information. So if he knows, just like you're claiming Hegseth should know, if he knows, this journalist, Goldberg, if he knows that it's classified information or information pertaining to military action, why is he releasing the information? Why was it leaked? That is my question. Why did he leak it? How did this journalist get, one, how did the journalist even get in the chat? And two, why would he leak the information? Why is nobody talking about this? You want to keep talking about classified. All right, we've established that it may have been classified. The information that was exchanged may have been classified. Okay. Whether it was or whether it was not, it was information that was being exchanged amongst the people who were supposed to be in that security meeting, in that security chat. It was, and this journalist was not somebody who was supposed to be in there. So, why would he leak the information in the first place? If he knew what they were talking about, why would he leak the information anyway? I'm confused on this because I don't hear many people talking about that. He had no business in the chat in the first damn place. That was a meeting he was not supposed to be in at all. But then you take minutes from the chat, what they were speaking on, and you leak them. This was a conversation on Signal where only certain people had access to it, not the whole public. Not everybody had access to this. It was for certain individuals. Certain individuals were supposed to be in that chat. And somehow this journalist got access to this chat. We still don't know how he got access to this chat, do we? Because I haven't heard anything. Do we know yet how he even got access to this chat? And even if we do, when we find out, the next question is, why was it leaked? Why was it leaked? Whether it was leaked by the journalist who had no business being there in the first place, or somebody else who was privy to the meeting. Why was it leaked? Because the public didn't have knowledge about it until it was leaked. So that was somebody doing that. That was an action done by somebody that was in the meeting. Why was it leaked? That is the question. Whether it was unclassified, classified, whatever the fuck. My question is, why was it leaked? Why does it matter so much that the person who was in charge of the meeting, or, Hegseth, the person they're blaming for the meeting, the leak, but they're not saying anything about the journalist who had no business there in the first place, being the source of the leak. Why did you leak it? Even if you got accidentally privy to the chat, if you knew what they were talking about, why would you leak it? Why was it leaked? That is my question. Why was it leaked? Why did you go to the public with it? What was the purpose of the leak? That's what I want to know. What was the purpose of the leak? What was the purpose of the leak? Why was it leaked? Why was it leaked? If you knew what kind of information they were talking about, as a journalist that had no business being there in the first place, why would you leak it? You knew what they were talking about. You leaked that to the public, and y'all are blaming Hegseth. He shouldn't go down by himself. That's what I would tell you. If he got to go down, this journalist need to go down as well. Both of them. No. So according to the article that I read about the leak and how the leak happened, the leak happened because Mike Waltz's office, a staffer from his office, put this journalist's number from the Atlantic on the call, the Signal chat. That's why Mike Waltz is involved. Because it was somebody from his office, a staffer from his office, put that number of the Atlantic editor-chief, Goldberg, put his number on that chat group. So that's how he got access to the chat. So again, this person knew, he was presuming that the information in that chat was legit. Because he said if it was true, then he would be hearing something about the attack. And he said he waited, and then he searched it up and saw that it happened. My question again, no matter what was going on in that meeting, why did this journalist, with all these high-profile politicians in this chat, speaking about national security measures being taken or soon to be taken, why would he think talking about national security measures in a chat that was held between nothing but the essential people involved or needing to know which he was not. Why would he take that little bit of privilege that he was given and abuse it by leaking what was put out in the chat? Why would you do that? What made you do that? So that you can tell? So that what did you think you were doing by leaking this national security information to the public? You were not even supposed to be in there. I don't even understand. So y'all will come down harder on the people who were supposed to be in that chat, that were talking to the people that was meant to have a need to know about the security measures that were being taken. Talking about it amongst themselves. They knew they were not going to talk about it and leak it to the public. But this journalist had no business even in there. And he was privy to this chat and took it upon himself to leak out the information from the chat. He did this. And my question still stands. This is an American citizen, so why in the hell would you leak that they were even having this meeting? That they were even having these talks in the first place? What did you think this was going to do? I'm curious as to why this person leaked this information. What did you think was going to come about from this? In a chat that you wasn't even supposed to be in. You should not have even been in. You were privy to it. What do you think in the future is going to happen because you did this? This is how you make situations worse. Or you change the course of things in the future. You help to change the course of things in the future. While everybody want to talk bad about Hegseth and Mike Waltz, they were not the ones who leaked the information. No, none of the other politicians that were in there leaked the information. It was the one person that was privy to the chat that had no business being there in the first place. So what do you think that means going forward? It'll never happen again. Regardless if they use Signal or something else, it'll never happen again. But like I said, y'all want something to happen to Waltz. Y'all want something to happen to Hegseth. Something better happen to this journalist as well. Because if it wasn't for him, this wouldn't have been out in the public. That they were even talking about this. It wouldn't even been out in the public. So we need to talk about everything. Please stop saying that Hegseth and Waltz were the reason why the information was leaked. Because regardless of what they were speaking about in that chat, nobody in that chat was given the approval to release anything about that chat into the public. Nobody. I don't understand why people are sitting here like, Hegseth and Waltz are the reason why this information was leaked. They were talking in the chat. They were not talking publicly. They were talking on the chat. Politicians, those politicians, not nobody else. Only the people in the chat knew what was going on. We're not talking about a situation where somebody else could have jumped in their chat just willy-nilly. No, there was no hacker. Somebody in the chat leaked the information. And it wasn't Hegseth, and it wasn't Waltz. What was privy in the chat was only privy to the people in the chat. Nobody else from the public knew about this. What little information was given about the chat was given by somebody in the chat. It wasn't Hegseth, and it wasn't Waltz. It was the journalist that had no business being there in the first place. So y'all want to keep saying they leaked the information. They did not leak anything. They didn't spill anything. They were talking to each other about national security measures amongst a group that had access to that particular chat. They were the only ones who were discussing what was going on. Nobody else knew outside of them. So the information that was in that chat would have only been put out to the public by somebody in the chat. It's not like somebody from the public got access to the chat and released the information. Nobody knows who this person is. That's not what happened. Somebody in the chat released the information, and it wasn't Hegseth and it wasn't Waltz. So y'all going on and on about this Signal app and how it might not be safe, when the truth is, the person who leaked the information was somebody who was put in the chat by someone from Mike Waltz's office who had no business being there in the first place. So we don't need to look at this as a hacker coming in and getting into their chat because they were using the app. We don't need to look at it like that, because that's not what it is. That's not what it is. The source of the leak was somebody who was added to the chat and should not have been, and decided to run his mouth about what the people in the chat were speaking about. So we need to look at this for what it really is and stop all this around the way and indirect bullshit. What happened is that somebody who was in the chat released that information that none of the public would have been privy to had he not done that. So we're not going to blame this on the app, because we know it wasn't a hacker. It wasn't a hacker. It was somebody in the chat that released information that was said in the chat. He had first-hand knowledge because he was added and shouldn't have been there. So he's the reason why the public knows about what the military was doing. I don't understand why we keep pointing the finger at Hegseth and Waltz. They didn't leak the information. They were talking in the chat about security measures with the security team of the people who were supposed to be there, plus one that shouldn't have been there. Ugh. I can tell you what's about to happen, though. As a result of this, every time a meeting like this needs to happen, it's going to be heavily scrutinized by the directors and the department heads and shit like that. Okay, if you are to be one of the parties in the security meeting, it will have to be vetted. You will have to be vetted as somebody who needs to know. And I can tell you now, that's not going to go well for any journalists or reporters. That's not going to go well anymore. I doubt y'all will ever be anywhere near any of these conversations again. That's what's going to happen. Y'all will not be allowed. And let me tell you what's going to happen as a result of that. People are going to start complaining. These journalists, reporters, and the likes are going to start complaining about why there's such a need for secrecy and nobody has access or nobody has privilege. This is because of this type of situation right here that just happened. It's going to get even more closed off. Even more. So that's going to be y'all next complaint. Because y'all really not going to know what's going on. Y'all might as well get ready. Let me tell y'all about classified information, okay? Whoever's privy to that information, that's who knows about it. Nobody else should know about it. Because if somebody else knows about it, then the people who were involved are going to know that somebody that was there is the reason why someone else knows about it. And then they're going to go dig deeper to find out who it was. Who released that information? Who said something? I don't give a damn if you were behind closed doors in a locked room where somebody just so happened to have access in there that didn't have no business being in there, but they were privy to the conversation. Everybody in that room is accounted for as far as who all knows about what's going on. So if something is leaked, they're going to know it came from somebody in that room. This is that type of situation where instead of it being a room, we're talking about an app. They ruled out that it was a hacker. It was not a hacker that did this. It wasn't a hacker that did this. It wasn't a hacker that leaked it. It wasn't even one of the party members that was supposed to be there that leaked this. They were discussing things that they were supposed to be discussing in the chat with the people who were supposed to be in there. Who leaked the information? The one person in the chat that did not have a need to know and was not supposed to be there. That's what this is. Not that Hegseth didn't do his job. Not that Waltz didn't do his job. Not that they were talking about classified information on an unclassified app. No, that is not what the issue is here. Because the public would not have known about this military stuff had it not been for the information that was leaked. The information that was leaked by a person who had access to the chat, who was a part of the active discussion. That, mind you, didn't say anything, but was receiving all the information. We're talking more about Hegseth and Waltz, and not enough about the journalist who took it upon himself to leak information from a privy meeting that he had no business being in. Did he get any information prior to this meeting that it was happening, that he would be allowed to be there? Why was this journalist even put on the list? Did this journalist not realize he was the only journalist privy to this meeting, that everybody else was a part of security in some way? So he's the only one in there that's a journalist. And he didn't think to question whether or not he should be there, or if the information that was being discussed was okay to be released. You didn't think this at one point in time. You didn't consider this not one point in time. I think we need to talk more to this journalist. Why he thought it was okay to leak this information. Why would he put this out? Why are you releasing this to the public? I think our focus is too heavy on the people who were supposed to be in that meeting and not focus enough on the person who had no business there in the first place. And why this person who had no business being there in the first place would leak any information about national security measures. What? So who really put our men and women in danger with releasing that shit? I think our focus is this is my opinion. Our focus is on the wrong people. It's on the wrong people. Yes, for sure. Hegseth and Waltz are going to do shit way different now. They already said that. Waltz already took accountability for what happened. But we ain't doing enough about this journalist that took it upon himself to make this write this article, releasing this information to the public. No. I really think that people need to focus on the target. And the target would not be Waltz or Hegseth. No. Those are not those are not the people who are responsible for the leaking of the information. They're not responsible for that. The leaking of the information to the public was done by a journalist. And you're sitting here making the argument, why in the world would a journalist be in on this kind of conversation in the first place? Let me tell you something, in the military, even if a journalist is privy to this kind of conversation, they know not to talk. They know not to release anything until they're given approval to do so. That's the difference between military and civilian. They don't put out anything without approval. So why did this journalist think it was okay to do it? Running off of different principles, maybe? Get out of my damn face. I wish somebody would say something to me about this. I'm telling you right now. Do not say anything to me about Hegseth and Waltz. If you're not going to say anything about this journalist and his behavior and what he did. And then I find out they got this judge, this same judge. I forget his name. I think it starts with a B. This same judge, he stopped something. I think it had to do with the deportations or something. I just had it up, y'all. This judge. Okay. Judge Goldberg, Boasberg. Okay, yeah. So this Judge Boasberg is the same judge that's trying to block deportations. That this administration is trying to carry out. This same judge that's trying to block deportations is the same judge that they done put over this leak now. How interesting. They're going to try to use the same judge. This judge don't really know how much fire they're putting him under. They don't know. They just don't know. But we gonna see what comes out of that. This is crazy to me. Please stop. I wish these people stop putting out misinformation, because they understand. They should understand that the way you say something, the words you choose to use, matters. Don't tell people that it's a clear attempt to keep people from being able to register to vote, because you're saying that this order that Trump is proposing is going to require people to show proof of citizenship. How is that preventing people from being able to register to vote? You have to register to vote. What do you think that means? You have to show proof that you're legally eligible in the United States to vote. So how is that preventing people from registering to vote? Because they have to show proof. Please, y'all need to quit doing this shit, because this shit is sickening. I'm sorry, but if you're an illegal, you don't have rights in this country. And that's how it should be. The only rights you have are your human rights. But you can take them human rights back over to where you're supposed to be. You're either going to be in this country legally, or you're not going to be in this country, and you're not going to be privy to our system and government of governing of doing things, and you're not a legal citizen. That's just it. You don't get to be in America as an illegal and then think you're going to be privy to all the rights of legal citizens. What is the point of being a legal citizen then? A legal citizen. Why is it important for you to be a legal citizen? If illegal citizens can still be allowed to do the same things that legal citizens can do, what is the point of us having the distinction? The distinction. These Americans in this country that continue to advocate for illegals is baffling. How about show your support by walking their asses over to where they're supposed to get the legal documentation to be here in this country? Set it up. How about you have seminars and go out in your communities and take on these illegals yourself? Listen, are y'all here legally? Let me help you. Let me help you figure out how to do this. That's what y'all need to be doing. That's what y'all need to be doing. Instead of continuously advocating for these illegals to have the rights in America to do the same things as the legal citizens that have the rights. What rights do illegal citizens have? I don't know why I keep saying illegal citizens, because to me, those two words don't go together. But these illegals that are here, why should they be privy to the same things as the legal people who are here? What is the point of the distinction is my question. It's not about spreading fear. It's about doing what's justified. What's right to do. That is not fair to legal citizens in this country that illegal citizens can do the same things as them. talking about he's trying to. These people think that he's out here trying to spread fear throughout the country. That if you're not registered to vote, you have a problem. Talking about, you're trying to make people afraid that they're not going to be able to vote. You're trying to bring confusion. How? Because there are many things that you can do prior to an election to ensure that you're able to vote. Plenty of things. The first thing is first, though. If you're illegal and you know you're illegal, you should be trying to become legal or get out of this country. Because that is what's happening, whether people want it to or not. At this point, it's not about fear. You have a lot of Americans here. American citizens. Legally here. A lot of them born here. Most of them born here. That do not take kindly to illegal people being in this country and having access to the same rights. That's not okay. I don't give a damn how much you want to advocate for them. That's not okay. You want to help them become legal. I find it funny that so many people are out here talking about Donald Trump's health. They seem to want to keep bringing up his health. I mean, I've listened to these people month after month after month after month talk about this man's health. They keep bringing attention to his health. For some reason, they want to keep his health a topic. I don't understand why, though. Leave his health alone. Stop bringing attention to his health. His health is his own private business. Why do you need to keep bringing this attention to the public about his health? You keep talking about his health, and then month after month after month, Donald Trump's fine. There's nothing wrong with him, and he's going to be fine. So nothing's going to happen to him no time soon, health-wise. And if it is happening to him, you guys don't know about it. You want to keep doing readings and keep doing messages about his health. Why? Because you're wishing upon a star, hoping upon a star that something intervenes on the way the current situation is going. They keep bringing up his health. They're falling short of saying that he may no longer be here. They keep falling short of saying that, but they keep insinuating certain things when they talk about his health. Like the universe may intervene. It's no secret that he's older. He's an older man. But I wouldn't continue to keep talking about his health. And nothing's going to happen to him at the end of April. Nothing. He'll be right here. Nothing's going to happen to him at the end of April. He'll be right here. But it's very interesting how many people I hear out here talking about or bringing attention to keep addressing Donald Trump's health. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. This is unnerving to me, especially as a spiritualist. This is unnerving to me that they keep talking about his health. I don't see why it's so important to keep bringing up his health. What's also concerning is it's not people who support him either that keeps bringing up his health. They don't support him. These people who keep bringing attention to his health don't support him. That's also concerning. And just like the divine knows your true intention when you do say something or do something, he knows your intention behind the words you say and don't say. I don't understand why y'all. I do understand why y'all doing it, but I wish y'all would stop doing it. Because he's going to be here at the end of April. He sure will. Sickening.